Guy who knows all about congested cities. We're talking Jersey City next. A beautiful city nonetheless. It is New Jersey's second largest, a true urban beauty that only artists seem to fully capture. Now there's a new book that helps capture its essence. It's called Subconscious City: Love, Art, and Artists. Jersey City, USA. It's a collection of stories and a novella that captures the heart of Jersey City just before the pandemic. Author Timothy Herrick is here to talk about it. We welcome him. Good morning, Timothy.
Good morning. Good morning from
I love
Jersey
Jersey.
City.
Jersey City is awesome. I think a lot of people don't realize, number one, it's the second largest city in New Jersey, but if you look at it, it's like the most contemporary looking city with a beautiful skyline. If you were to take that skyline of Jersey City, you could put it anywhere else in the country and that would be the major metropolitan area, right? But because it's in the shadow of New York, it looks like an extension.
Yeah, also the skyline is changing because there's a mix of old factories and warehouses, beautiful historical buildings, next industrial era buildings next to some new buildings and skyscrapers, which may not be as interesting, but it's an interesting
Yeah.
clash of two different eras.
Yeah, I have a friend who lives in a condo in what used to be an old school right by the Holland Tunnel. I don't know the name of the building. You may know. It literally overlooks the Holland Tunnel approach. And it was this old, like a 12-story building school. It was a school for many years. And they closed it down.
Uh,
They converted it to these beautiful, beautiful loft condos with a view of Manhattan and the tunnel. It is so cool. But Jersey City has lots of that. Tell us about, I'm assuming that all gave you the inspiration for this amazing book.
Sort of. More, it's really more of the artists in Jersey City and art in general, because cities across the country and in parts of Europe and Asia, there's art scenes and visual art, theater, spoken word, film, music, of course, and there's all that in Jersey City. But the scene was really started by visual artists and it coalesced around that. And I think that makes the arts in Jersey City very distinct.
Well, so you did a bit of a blending of the novella and short stories, and but they're all interlinked. So talk about how you decided what went where and when you structured that.
Actually, the structuring was the second step. The stories really just come to me. I can't really explain where they come from when it comes to fiction and poetry, but they just came to me, and I realized they were all set sort of around an art bar that is no longer here in the main section. And also, if you know Jersey City, there's Newark Avenue, and now
Hmm.
it's like a whole pub. And this is sort of the transition period right before that was built, but right after they stopped the traffic and it was getting there. And it really, it's just the setting, and the stories are really more about art and in the context of urban city, which happens to be the quintessential New Jersey town.
Indeed. And Timothy, I mean, you've been in Jersey City for a long time, obviously, right? You've seen it change. Talk about what it was like when you were younger and what changes you've seen for the better or the worse. Because I'm sure there's a lot of the traditional Jersey City you saw knocked down, and you say, wait a minute, we don't need another glass tower here. So talk about that, what you've witnessed over the years.
Well, there's that. It's also a bit of a transitory city where people are constantly moving in and out. And so I was able to see some of that old guard of Jersey City, of folks who grew up in the neighborhood and that kind of thing. And they grew up in the whole city as well, mixed with people like refugees from the suburbs and the rest of America. I'm a suburban refugee, and I've been here since the 90s. And, then, there was 9/11 and Sandy. And so there's been a lot of interesting ups and downs in the city. But, there's been a few books about Jersey City, nonfiction and fiction, and many of them are very good. But they're all about, they're often about the criminal element, the mafia, or the corrupt politicians, which they don't seem to be running out of, and no, but and I thought like the artists are really changing the city and people in a way that is under recognized and has been inspiring for me since living here, and it really started to gain momentum after 9/11 and the first decade of this century, and so that really inspired me. The artists themselves.
So now the characters are all about urban living. I think that in reading this, and I was only able to leaf through, but I want to read this cover to cover and read all the stories in it because
Oh,
it's
thank you.
something that having been raised, I'm from New Rochelle, but I went
Okay.
to grammar school, high school, and college in Manhattan. So I kind of identify with the urban living concept from
Right.
my whole life I've been in that scene. And the characters are sort of really all about urban living, right? So, what was the message you were trying to leave readers with that?
I'm not sure if I have a specific message, but it's just I love living in cities. I love this city, and I love city well living, right? And so I think that is so because cities are very democratic. You're very, and I mean that in a small d type of
Right.
way, and so you really need to be. Polite and mannerly and considerate of others, and I find that very appealing. And also, I think that uh, is related to creativity, and that's the essence of all art.
By the way, Timothy, I think you with what you just said, you just defined the difference between city and rural living by saying that. And I know what you meant, and you're not trying to get into the politics. I get it. Neither am I right now. But there is a difference when you live in a very densely populated area. If you look at the more densely populated areas in the country, they all tend to be a little more liberal than more rural areas, and that's not condemnatory of either. There is something to be said for right when you're living on top of each other, you do have to be a little more tolerant of one another so you don't get on each other's nerves. And simple as that. And so and you tend to see poverty and things like that. So you want to help people out. So you're 100%. That sentence just defined the difference between rural and city living.
Well, thank you. And it's not so much just seeing poverty or being compassionate, it's experiencing other
Mhm.
cultures and other folks that don't, if somebody works on Wall Street and married to an artist, and the artist is doing this and is part of other circles. So you really are exposed to other circles and other cultures and all that kind of stuff. So it's very liberating and
Mhm.
life enhancing.
And Jersey City is literally one of the most diverse cities in the whole country. It's
Yeah.
as diverse. And excuse me, I'm going through a cold, so I just have to do that. As diverse as New York, if not more. I mean, you have an Indian population, Pakistani, you have Jewish, Italian, Polish. There is such a mix of cultures that makes that really helps make it such an amazing place. And then you have even where your location is. You're on the water. You're only a mile across from Manhattan. You got Hoboken
Mhm.
on one side. You got Manhattan over there, but yet Jersey City is still its own thing. And for
Very
those
much.
who don't realize, and just I only read this about you yesterday. I didn't realize you are an artist publicist. So how did that influence, or did it influence the stories in your book?
To a certain extent, but I had interest in art well before doing becoming a publicist. So I think I just got me to know artists, and also you do publicity work and get their ideas, and talking to them and interviewing them probably did was actually a big influence because it's really about the artist. Everybody's brain where it has the verbal and the visual, and artists have more visual than verbal compared to, say, a writer who has more verbal than visual. And so so that the idea of how artists think and live uh, uh, just fascinated me, and that sort of was maybe the root inspiration for this book.
Love it. What is a website, Timothy, for people to get more information or to get the book?
My website is timhrk lit.com. And the book's available on Amazon and local bookstores, Word Bookstore in Jersey City. Here's a
I love it.
copy of the book.
Nice. Or bring it right under your chin. We just lost it. There you go. Excellent. All right. It is called Subconscious City, Love, Art, and Artists, Jersey City, USA. A, the city is a beautiful city. It's a fantastic place. And B, maybe I could reverse the order of that. There, the man you see on your screen is the perfect ambassador for Jersey City, and the stories are fantastic. Now you are. It's a good read. People will enjoy the
I
stories
can
because
go over it.
it's a perfect assembly of stories. And if you've been through Jersey City at all, you'll even love it. Even if you haven't, but if you have been, you'll know everything in that book. It's awesome. So once again, Subconscious City, Love, Art, and Artists, Jersey City, USA, author Timothy Herrick. Thank you so much for coming on today. All the best with the book.
Ken, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And get that flu shot.
I did. I got the flu shot. Now I just wish we had a cold shot. But thank you again. I appreciate it. All right, Timothy.
Good day.
Timothy
Thank you
seems
so much.
you too. Timothy would be the greatest guy in the world to have lunch with. Wouldn't you want to go for lunch with him? Because you could just tell he's a guy that knows the area and knows probably where everybody is buried, so to say, in Jersey City. I mean that in the best way.